What if one of the world's most notorious serial killers became a celebrated artist? What if his paintings are still being bought and sold for thousands of dollars today? And what does it say about us that people are willing to hang a murderer's artwork on their walls? Somewhere in America right now, that painting is hanging on someone's wall. In a cell at Mernard Correctional Center, a condemned man is painting a clown. He works carefully, mixing color, building up the white of the face, the red of the smile. He'll do this for 14 years on death row, producing roughly 2,000 paintings before the state of Illinois finally puts him to death. People will pay thousands of dollars for these paintings. Some will pay over 100,000. And almost every single one of them will ask the same question afterward. Why would anyone want this hanging on their wall? To understand the answer, you have to understand the man holding the brush. Because John Wayne Gacy didn't become an artist instead of a killer. He became one because of it. You're watching World of Crime. I'm your host Prohit Sil, and this is the disturbing story of John Wayne Gacy, the man who murdered 33 young men and boys, hid many of their bodies beneath his own home, and then, while awaiting execution on death row, painted nearly 2,000 works of art that continue to fascinate the collectors around the world. This isn't just a story of a serial killer. It's the story of how evil can be repackaged, marketed, and remembered, and why society still can't look away. Long before death row, John Wayne Gacy already had a paintbrush of sorts, grease paint applied by hand in front of a bathroom mirror. In the 1970s, the Chicago contractor moonlighted as a children's party entertainer. He called himself Pogo, sometimes Patches. He showed up at hospitals, parades, and block parties in his own Norwood Park Township neighborhood, makeup thick, smile painted ear to ear. It was, in hindsight, the first piece of art John Wayne Gacy ever created about himself. A disguise built entirely out of joy, worn by a man whose private life held almost none. Gacy was born in Chicago in 1942, raised by an abusive father who called him dumb and stupid so often the words never quite left him. By his 20s, he was married, managing a restaurant in Iowa, building the first version of a respectable life. In 1968, that version collapsed. He was convicted of sexually assaulting a teenage employee and sentenced to 10 years. He served 18 months. He came back to Chicago and built the persona again, brick by brick, a construction company, a second marriage, a precinct captain title in local politics, and underneath all of it, the clown suit. Bright, harmless, watched and loved by children who had no idea what else lived behind that painted face. Between 1972 and 1978, while playing the genial entertainer by day, Gacy was committing the crimes that would make him one of the most notorious killers in American history. He lured young men and teenage boys to his home, often with the promise of work through his construction company. He would offer alcohol or drugs, then propose a magic trick involving a pair of handcuffs. Once a victim was restrained, the trick was over. At least 33 boys and young men, ages of 14 to 21, were murdered. 26 of their bodies were buried in the crawl space beneath Gacy's own house, arranged. Investigators would later note with horror, almost methodically. 3 more were buried elsewhere on his property. 4 were discarded in the Des Plaines River when the crawl space ran out of room. There's a painting Gacy made years later, on death row, of that very house. Of all the thousands of images he produced, clowns, skulls, Disney dwarfs, Even a portrait he titled simply Christ. Collectors say that one, the house on Somerdale Avenue, is the most sought after of them all. Knowing what's underneath, it is the entire reason anyone wants it. For 6 years, Gacy operated with almost no real interference. Neighbors complained about a smell from the crawl space. He blamed a dead rodent. Parents of missing boys begged police to look closer at the friendly contractor on Somerdale Avenue. Reports were filed and quietly closed. It took the disappearance of 15-year-old Robert Peast in December 1978 and a mother who refused to stop asking questions to finally connect Gacy to a name, a timeline, and a search warrant. On December 21st, 1978, police began digging in Gacy's crawl space. Within minutes, they found human remains. They would keep finding them for weeks. Robert Peast's body was eventually recovered from the Des Plaines River. He was the last of Gacy's known victims. At trial, Gacy's lawyers argued he was insane, that the murders were committed by an alternate personality he called Bad Jack. The jury didn't buy it. They convicted him on all counts in under 2 hours and sentenced him to death the following day. And this is where the story most people think they know actually keeps going. In 1982, 4 years into his sentence at Mernard, Gacy acquired a box of paints. What started as a way to fill empty hours on death row became something closer to an obsession. Over the next 12 years, he produced an estimated 2,000 canvases. Most were self-portraits as Pogo, the same painted smile he had worn to children's parties, now rendered in oil over and over, as if he were trying to paint his way back into the one identity that had let him hide in plain sight. Others were darker, skull-faced clowns, fanged grins, images that looked less like entertainment and more like confession. He sold them. With help from his lawyer and outside collectors, paintings went out for as little as $50 at first. Gacy was reportedly defensive about his talent. He didn't consider himself an artist, exactly. More that whatever ability he had was a gift, and selling the work was his way of giving something back. The state of Illinois disagreed that he should profit at all. In 1993, prosecutors sued to block him from collecting proceeds from his own art. The case didn't stop the market, it just delayed it. A few months before his execution, a Beverly Hills gallery quietly offered 3 dozen of Gacy's painting for sale, describing the work as art made by the criminally insane, a recognized if uneasy corner of the folk art world. One piece, a fanged pogo, sold for $20,000. On May 10, 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection at Stateville Correctional Center. He was 52. He died, still insisting he was innocent. His paintings outlived him by decades, and the market never really cooled. Some pieces purchased right after his death were burned in a public bonfire attended by hundreds, including relatives of his victims who wanted them destroyed rather than displayed. Others kept circulating. A Gacy exhibition in Las Vegas in 2011 drew protest and public rebuke from a national victims advocacy group, which refused any money connected to his name. A Pogo the Clown self-portrait sold in 2022 for nearly $13,000. Some Gacy works have reportedly fetched well over $100,000. One auctioneer put it bluntly, the worse the crime, the higher the price. Gacy's art isn't valuable because of brushwork or composition. It's valuable because of what the hand that held the brush had already done. That's the uncomfortable center of the story. John Wayne Gacy spent his whole adult life building faces to hide behind. A clown suit, a respectable title, a construction business, and finally, a paintbrush. Each one letting him control exactly how the world saw him. The tragedy is that for 6 years it worked. The paintings didn't redeem him. They didn't even humanize him. They just gave him one more mask and gave the rest of us a way to keep looking at a monster without calling it that. This has been World of Crime with your host Prohit Sil. For more such horrific crime cases, keep watching News Ei Samay.